Microsoft Word is a word processing program, and basically what that means is that you can write and store your text within the program. To open up the program, you can see I've got my Word 2013 shortcut on my desktop. I can double click on that, or you can actually add the shortcut down below to the taskbar. That only requires a single click to open up the program, as I did with my Excel program. I can click on that in one click, opens up Excel. In any case, if you want to learn how to add shortcuts either to your desktop or to the taskbar down below, I recommend that you watch my Windows training video on shortcuts, because otherwise you're going to have to do it the long way, which is come over here, click on the Start button, and then click on All Programs, and then find Microsoft Office 2013, click on that to expand it, and there it is, and whew, I'm already tired. Let's click off. How about the shortcut? There it is. When I hover over it, it tells you what it's all about. Hey, you can create beautiful documents, easily work with others, and enjoy the read. Wow, I'm sold. Let's go ahead and double click to open it up, and there you go. New to Word 2013 is what's called the Start screen. In previous versions of Word, you just started with the blank document. But in Word 2013, they're saying, hey, in the Start screen, what do you want to start with? Is it going to be actually a blank document? Or do you have some recent document you want to look at? Or do you want to use one of the templates as you scroll down below? Let me go ahead and scroll back up. Let's keep it simple and click on blank document, and there you go. We're right in the Word program. Now, in a later training video, I'll show you how you can remove the Start screen, so every time you open up Word, it takes you right here to a blank page. Once you get past that Start screen, this is what you're going to be looking at. This is the default view. So to give you an idea of what we're going to be working in as far as the view goes, let me give you an overview by starting in the upper left-hand corner and working from left to right and then top to bottom. The first thing you see in the upper left-hand corner is the logo for Word. That little W there, so that way when you open up the program you're like, am I in Access, Excel? Nope, W for Word. And then to the right of that you have what's known as the Quick Access toolbar. It's called that because you can quickly access any command on it in a single click. So for example, if I hover over this command, you can see in the pop-up that will save the document when I click on it. Or you got the shortcut keys in the pop-up by holding down Control and hitting the S key. I'll show you in a later training video how you can customize the Quick Access toolbar. But for now, let's leave it and come over to the right and look at the title bar. It's called that because that's the title of your document. Now by default, whenever you create a new blank document, Word's going to assign a generic title like document 1, 2, 3, or in my case 8. In a later training video, when we learn how to save our documents, it'll give us a chance to go ahead and rename the title to reflect the true nature of the document. So if it's about cooking, we can call it my yummy, tasty cooking document. And then to the right of that, you have the dash and the name of the program. In case, again, if you forget that you open up Word, there it is, Word. And then over to the right, you have the Help button that you can click on, or you can see in the pop-up, hit the F1 key on the keyboard. And then to the right of that, you have what's new to Office 2013. That's the ribbon display options. We'll cover that in a later training video. And then, of course, you have the window commands where you can minimize the window, restore it down, or close out of it. I go over that in my Windows training videos. Then below that, you have what's known as the ribbon. Now, you have a bunch of commands up here in the Quick Access toolbar that you can quickly access, but there's so many commands to work with. Like, for example, when you want to make your text bold, italicize, underline, those are just a few, but you can see all these commands here, and there's so many commands that instead of having half the page disappear with all these commands, Microsoft Word organized them into tabs. So on the ribbon, the first tab is the Home group. That's where the more popular commands are at, where most people tend to use these commands. And then if it has anything to do with inserting into the document, like images, objects, shapes, it's on the Insert tab. Anything with design, page layout, references, and so on. So for example, on the Home tab, these commands are also broken down into groups. So you've got the Clipboard group, and then you have a line. Then anything to do with the font is in the Font group, and then a line separating that from the paragraph. So again, in the Font group, if you want to make your text bold, italics, underline, or if you're working with the lines within your document, if you want them single-spaced, double-spaced, you want space in between the paragraphs, you can go to the Paragraph group. And then within each group, if there's more than what it can fit within that group, or there's more commands that aren't generally used, that aren't as popular, but they're still part of the group, you can go ahead and click on that little teeny tiny arrow. That's the expandable dialog box button, because when you click on it, it expands and opens up the window. And you'll notice that a lot of the commands you see here are also available here, plus additional commands. Like if you want to do a strike through. When you check it, it gives you a preview of what it does with the text you have selected. So you can see there's a strike through the text down below. In any case, we'll uncheck that and click cancel and keep it simple here. So if I want to be able to insert something, go to the Insert tab. A whole lot of new commands here separated by lines into their actual groups for illustrations like pictures, shapes, charts, screenshots, and so on all the way down the line here. Let me go back to the Home tab. Now, one of these tabs is not like the other in that it's got a different color. It's the File tab. Now, the File tab is known also as the Backstage. Why is it called that? Because you notice when I click on any other tab here, the only thing that changes are the commands on the ribbon. It just updates it and says, okay, on the Design tab, let's show these commands as opposed to the Home tab. When I click on the File tab, it wipes everything off. We go backstage behind the scenes. Because if you think of it like a theater, when you go behind the scenes, there's a lot of technical things that you do to set up to make it look presentable in the front stage view. Like your options. Do you want to be able to have the start screen always display every time you open up the Word program, or do you want to bypass that and just go right to a blank document? You can change that option here. Also, you can export, share, print, save it as another copy, even open up another document, create a new document based upon the blank template or other templates that are available. You can also get some information, details about the document, like the properties. A lot of this we'll cover in a later training video. But to keep it simple, let's go ahead and go back to the front stage, and we can do that by clicking on the back arrow button, and we're back to where we started here. And then below that, I have my horizontal ruler and vertical ruler. By default, it's not turned on, so if you want to view the ruler, operative word being view, you can come up here and click on the View tab, and go to the Show Group, and there it is, Ruler. Off, on. Let me go back to the Home tab. And then below that, of course, we've got our blank document with our cursor flashing that we can go ahead and just start typing in our text when we're ready. You can click and drag the scroll bar down all the way to the end of the document. And you don't have to see the status bar down below to be able to see that by scrolling up and down. It's always going to be there. And the status bar will tell us what page we're on and how many pages are within the document. We're on page 1 of 1, how many words are within the document. Also some other details, checking for proofing errors, and if you want to record macros, which we'll cover in a later training video. And then over to the right, you have the different views. You can put this in a reading mode view, or the default, the print layout, and then the web layout, and then you can zoom in, like if the text is too small, but the font is the right size. Like if the font right now, let's see, is size 11. But it's really too small for you to see, but you want it that way so when you print out the document, it's not like, font size 50 or something really huge. You can go ahead and click and drag the slider to zoom in or to zoom out. And if you want to be able to customize the status bar, all you have to do is come down here anywhere and right click, and you can see all those options that have been checked, like the zoom. You see it's right there, the zoom slider, the shortcuts, the macro recording, which is what we saw here. If you want to uncheck that, it disappears. If you want to check it, it reappears. And then just click off to close that shortcut menu.